Preview wasn't supposed to pop up because this is the final whistle with Coach Stevie G, and we have a special guest now. Typically, I run a music intro to introduce the guests that we have on this little series that we've been running. But unfortunately, I've been copy striked 3 times in a row, and they've told me they're going to suspend my account if I keep playing copyright music. So, Chris, unfortunately, you'll never walk alone with the Liverpool theme song or, Happy by Pharrell Williams and whatever the other songs that I had in line to play for tonight. Unfortunately, I can't do it. I'm definitely not going to be singing it. So you're just going to have to do without the intro. But I do have my normal written intro that I will run through to formally introduce you into tonight's show. So let's kick it off. Chris is the only bloke I know who can drop a dad joke into any conversation faster than a Mitchell Moses cutout pass. He's a proud corporate member of the Blue and Gold. He's got seats, he's got the perks, and he's got the inside word from connections who swear 2026 is going to be the year of the eel. His man cave is stocked better than any bar, top shelf bourbon, premium cigars, and the occasional karaoke session that may or may not end with a signature Donald Trump dance. On the tipping ladder, though, he's been as unpredictable as the West Tigers recruitment plan. And when it comes to his opinions, he's never shy to debate a ref's call, a political policy, or both in the same sentence. One thing is for sure, Chris is living his best life. Chris O'Keefe, welcome to the final whistle.
Thanks, Coach Stevie G. It's a pleasure to be here, sort of.
That's probably
finally.
I didn't realise how long that was until I actually read it out loud. It was the first time I've actually read that out loud, and that's probably one of the longest intros that I've done. I didn't realise it was that long, but there was not a false word said in that intro.
Well, thank you very much for that, Steve.
You're very welcome. Now, you've watched. I know you are a regular contributor in the chats and with these shows. So you've watched these podcasts before, the final whistle, haven't you?
I have indeed. I'm obviously with Michelle watching it diligently. It means that I'm there as well watching it most times. So hopefully I can be as good as everybody else.
I'm sure you will, mate, and we'll make all those viewerships and the numbers get as high as at the very least the deputy LM. That's got to be at least the goal. So how are you going? How have you gone in the comp so far? Like, what are your thoughts on the competition?
Oh, mate, it's obviously been a difficult year this year with a lot of upsets, especially in the early rounds. It hasn't been my best year. I think I'm coming 69th, Steve. So well, it's a good number.
Yeah, well, there could be something in that. Now you got. I mean, I'm jumping off the plan here, and there's questions that we've sort of sent through. But you've got kids in the well, and I know one particular person's going quite well.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's been great having. Paul's been involved in it for a little while now, but having Elizabeth, it's her first year in it, and she's done really well this year. For a 10-year-old girl that I think the only game she does watch are the Parramatta games to be up there. She unfortunately missed out on the Dahlia medal this year by 4 points, wasn't it, in the end, on the last round?
It was a margin by 4. So the Thursday night game, if she had to pick the margin 4 less than what she picked, she actually would have taken out the Dahlia medal. I went to Wollongong last weekend with the boys to watch the darts, and there was, it was, I don't know, half a dozen or a few blokes all in the tipping comp sitting around the table, and the tipping comp got brought up. And when I told them, that Elizabeth was a 10-year-old girl, they nearly fell off their chairs. So she's done extremely well to be right up there. That is, like I've said it before, that is very prestigious to win that medal. I think
it's the only one that Michelle hasn't won yet, mate.
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I think that. But getting it back on track, tell us a little bit, while we're talking about the kids, tell us a little bit more about your beautiful family.
Well, I'm married to the deputy LM from the footy tipping. I love her dearly. She's a good girl. And
for those that don't know, she's my sister. So Chris is my brother-in-law. Just to add a little bit of context to some of the people that are sort of outside the family loop.
Yeah. And obviously, it's our second marriage, both of us. So I've got two kids. I've got Paul, who's the toppest G in the tipping comp, 15-year-old, works at Macca's now, trying to find his way in life, I guess. So I think watching now, hopefully. And obviously Elizabeth, she's 10-year-old, loves the netball, involved in tennis. She's at Cubs at the moment, so not watching at the moment. But yeah, they're my world, along with Michelle, and obviously Michelle's kids. So Jason, he's flown the coop now, but he's out there, and yeah, and obviously Kiara and Leah live with us at the moment, which is good. I'm trying to give them a head start in life. And I've got two little fur babies with Teddy and Pippin, who are probably sitting on Michelle's lap right as we speak.
There you go. That is a full rundown of the house, including the little runts that I call them that run around the house. So the holiday plans, mate. You got any holiday plans coming up? I know we've talked about a few different trips here and there, but anything significant that's locked in?
My holiday plans change every week that Michelle watches travel guides on Channel 9, mate. So she'll watch it and get an idea and say, I want to go there. And then it's the next week, it's the next menu that they go to. So look, what I do is when Parramatta play in Vegas, that's a lock. We're really keen to go over there and watch the Mighty Eels over in Vegas. Michelle's second passion is obviously poker machines, so she will. Vegas ticks that box as well. And I'm big into the mob. I like history and the mob and all that. So I'd like to see the history of that, and watch it. Some good footy. We've always talked about going on a cruise. So hopefully next year we get the opportunity to do something like that. And maybe this year, towards the end of the year, maybe we just go for a trip up the coast, maybe Coffs, go back to where you originate from around there, and enjoy some time up there.
Yeah. We're all going to go to the Vegas game, but in hindsight, I'm glad it didn't happen financially. It would have just probably been a big expense. But I'm really looking forward to if someone can organise the cruise, it happening next year in its replacement. I think getting all the Garrards on a carnival cruise or something like that would be.
It'll be a disaster zone, but it'll be fun watching it go up.
Yeah, it'll be a funny fortnight.
I can be that bad influence you always say I am.
Definitely, and that's going to be referred to. It's definitely going to be referred to in this conversation. A typical football night for Chris, what does that look like?
Well, it depends if it's an Eels home game, as you said in the opening. Michelle and I enjoy going to the Combank Stadium. We've splashed out this year. We had the opportunity and we've taken some corporate tickets there. I enjoy the full strength beers at the game at Combank, mate, as opposed to Wynn Stadium where you can only get the mid strength. So living in the nanny state, mate, that we live in.
Yeah.
So and I enjoy that. Giving it to we're close to the sideline. So giving it to so last weekend when the ball hit the trainer from the North Queensland side, I was a little bit frothing at the mouth to give it to him a little bit. And the emotions of the game right at the end when North Queensland scored the disallowed try and Michelle got the poops really bad and she was about to walk out. I said, "Don't worry, Dale. It's that won't be given as a try." And there was a couple of North Queensland supporters there, throwing their hands up, and I'm just going, nah, we've got this one, no problems.
Yes. Michelle's made a few comments. She's saying something about you forgot the grand fur cats, which I'm assuming they're Lee and Kiara's cats. And then she's also saying you were dribbling.
Obviously, Shazil as well, living with us as mate, living with us. So, who's Kiara's partner? He's one of the family now.
Well, yeah, we did want him in the Footy Tipping Comp, but he he pulled the pin late, didn't he? But we'll get him in next. We'll get him in next year.
Yeah.
So I don't
100%.
think we're not going to acknowledge him just yet on the final whistle until he's fully initiated with joining the tipping comp.
Sounds good, mate.
What do you do for work, mate? Tell the masters what you do for work.
Probably an obscure thing, but I work for a company called Manildra Group. We're an agribusiness, make flour and all the byproducts of flour, and my job's the rail transport coordinator. So I move raw product to our mills around New South Wales, and then finished product to the port. So my job's not to run them out of product. So I'm pretty successful at that. So haven't had too many issues there, even with all the interruptions we get. But it's a challenge. It's full on. But
You are, mate. Even as early as 5 minutes before we went live, you were on the phone coordinating phone calls and questions and answers from the different factories. So you've always got your little earpiece in with your phone, and you're always walking around doing some sort of talking and coordinating. And I can see you with your captain's train hat on, whistle in hand, pointing.
Yeah.
No, it's probably not how it goes, but we'll just stick with that. All right.
Yeah.
What is something that most people in the competition would be surprised to find out about Chris?
I thought about these questions, Steve, because I'm pretty reserved with what I say about myself and things like that. But I guess the one thing I can say, footy topic, is that I'm actually named after Chris Anderson, the Bulldogs player from the 70s and 80s, and Australian coach and that. So mum and dad were Bulldog supporters. They were mad. So especially in their youth, Steve, they got a bit more reserved later on in life, but a bit mad when they were a bit young and on the hill at Belmore. And mum was heavily pregnant one day watching the game, and Chris Anderson took a ball in the in goal, off a bomb. In the old days, there wasn't drop kicks. There wasn't 20-metre taps, so he ran the length of the field and scored a try. And mum turned to dad and said, "If we have a boy, we're going to call him Chris." And back in '74, there wasn't any gender affirmation or anything like that, so I turned out a boy, and they called me Chris.
There you go. Well, you've got another fan. Lisa says that you're her favourite person. I was going to insinuate.
That bank check will get to you shortly.
I was going to insinuate she's talking about me, but then she sends the next message, which very much clearly states that it wasn't, and that it is you, Chris. So
excellent. Thank you, Lisa.
Your ass. And then Michelle says something about he can't get the final whistle slogan right. So
we'll test that out at the end, Steve.
We will. We'll give it a red hot crack. All right, let's move on. So, what do you get up to in your spare time, Christopher?
Don't get a lot of spare time, Steve, but when I do, I enjoy having people over, mate. You and me have had a couple of Tuesday nights where we, get a good whiskey out, or it's bourbon mostly because that's what I drink. But we're educating ourselves. I'm sure you'll talk about that a bit later.
Now's the time to talk about it. So the bad influence component to what I was referring to earlier is I've now joined a whiskey club. So my bar is going to look somewhat respectable, like Chris's bar behind him, with some quality top shelf bottles. So I've started to accumulate some, and we'll be collecting more over the coming months. So that's definitely something we do. And then the cigars, mate. I never was a cigar smoker until probably the last 6 months, when you and I have started to do the Tuesday night cigars. So that's another thing we get up to, I suppose.
There we go. Got a white Churchill there.
So that'll get a workout. There's a group of us going to. Actually, there's a few in the tipping comp. So Bomber and Troy Coyle, and then obviously
Grumpy Bum.
Yeah, Phil, you, and me, and I think there's maybe another one or two all going to the Rocks next week to the American Whiskey Show, which will be good. Then followed by the The Roosters power
Eels
game.
versus Roosters. So I don't think I'll be Lisa's favourite person next week when we're supporting the Eels, the mighty Eels, to get over those Roosters.
Yes, actually, I'm glad Lisa's watching at the moment because I did tell Phil to invite Ben because I know that he's a bourbon drinker. So, Lisa, if you're hearing or if Ben's in earshot or if he's listening as well, next weekend we're going to a American whiskey show. Ben is very welcome to join us. And then we're going to go to the footy game. So
I'm hoping Connor's watching as well. He's a little champion. Jackass. Lucky Ducky. Jackass.
Lucky Ducky's going nowhere. This is a big week for Lucky Ducky. He needs to lift his game a little bit. There's been plenty of banter in this household. Anyway, we've got off track here a little bit, and I've got a few chats to get up. Maybe I'll catch up with the chats, and then we'll get into the questions.
Apologies, Steve. Apologies.
No, don't apologise, but we could just.
While you're doing that, I'm going to crack open I'm going to do a wild turkey for you, Steve.
All right, beautiful. Beautiful. Right, so what have we got here? We've got Michelle says. What does Michelle say? Only if you get a driver or sleepover. Only if you get a driver or sleepover. Right. I don't know if that's referring to the whiskey show or the Tuesday nights, but they're never messy enough for any of those things. Lisa's keen. You're keen for the whiskey show, Lisa. You're welcome to come. Michelle's in. I don't remember inviting Michelle, but she must be in. I mean, maybe she's saying Lisa.
I think Michelle's got the dog show, mate. So I think Michelle might be an absentee from the whiskey show.
Lisa's talking about taking Ben, so I'll make sure if Phil hasn't rung him and organised it, I'll give him a call. And if there's tickets left, I've got to see if there's tickets left. But if there's tickets left, definitely said to Phil a couple of weeks ago to let him know. But I think Ben's been away. Maybe he has. I don't know. He sure is watching. And that's all of the chat caught up. Right. What else we got here? What do you get up to in your free time? We've talked about that. What do you do? Do you go to many games, and do you prefer to watch in the comfort of the man cave? Now, probably that first part of the question we've already covered. But what would you prefer? Would you prefer going to a live game, or do you enjoy kicking back in the bar, watching it on the big screen?
It depends on the mood, Steve. But you know, I enjoy going to Combank Stadium. Sitting up in the corporates and drinking beer out of a glass is quite nice. We went down to Wynn Stadium this year, the Garrards, and after a couple of sherbets down there, Steve, at the in-laws place, Phil's in-laws place. Some very good quality wild turkey was consumed down there, and I was in a merry mood when there was all those Parramatta supporters out the front, and I was claiming it was a Parramatta home game. It was quite a good night. So, and it was good to have all the Garrards there, which was, really good.
I must admit, you were in fine form that day.
I snoozed on the way home. Sorry, darling. I snoozed on the way home.
It was a classic. It's a shame we couldn't get the win, but no, it was really good fun. And looking forward.
Addo Carr didn't step out that day, mate. It should have been our win.
Well, he didn't step out. It's just that the idiot with the flag in his hand on the sideline decided to put his hand up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's upstairs, Ray. The mega cap's upstairs, mate.
Don't pick at old wounds. They can't see that. Let me catch up with the chat. Lisa's saying Phil's a prick. That's without being said. Ben goes, why does Chris think Lisa's what's this? Why does Chris think he's Lisa's favourite and not her husband? Asking for a friend. Well, I'll leave that one right where it needs to be left. She said, so Ben, you're out. Oops, her husband wasn't meant to read that. It sounds like they're having a conversation themselves, and then Ray jumps in and says, where's your mega hat?
I thought it could be quite controversial, so I thought I'd stick with the Parramatta Eels hat today.
Mate,
although I am drinking out of a Trump. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a Trump Tower.
I can slightly make it out.
There we go, Trump Tower.
Did you hear we're getting off topic again, but we can just talk all day. Did you hear the latest with what they're doing with the UFC? They're talking about having one of the UFC fights in the gardens
at the White House. Yeah,
White House. Yeah, that'd be unreal sight.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's
For
enough
sure.
Trump.
We'll leave that one alone now.
Yeah, we'll get back to Donald when you get up and do your little Trump dance at the end. We'll
no dancing tonight, mate. Haven't had enough sherbets.
All right. Who are your current and past favourite players? I'm struggling reading tonight.
Again, you know, you send these out, so you think about it all day. And I like leaders. You know, with soccer, Steve Garrard was. Steve Gerrard. Steve Gerrard. Like, he was a hero of mine. You know, Liverpool probably. I've supported him since '86, Craig Johnston, but you know, they probably weren't a complete team most of the time he was playing, and you know, he picked them up and drove them there. So probably at the moment, Steve Crichton at Canterbury. You know, I think he's changed the culture there, and you know, brought in the winning mentality. I think, however good Nathan Cleary is, I think Dylan Edwards is the glue that holds Penrith together. You know, without Dylan Edwards, I don't think they would have won 4. And you know, being a Parramatta supporter, probably does too much if truth known. You know, he runs all over the field and he's buggered, but he's moment. In the past, again, the leadership, you know, Steve Price from the Bulldogs back in the day. I was partial to the Balmain back in '89, Blocker and Ciro and that, you know, being big boys. And Peter Sterling, Brett Kenny, Steve Ella was a favourite back in the day. You know, he was very smooth. I wish I had the soccer smoothness as he did with that, and I might have actually gone somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've just been reading through some of these chats. I don't know if you've seen them popping up on the screen. It very much impresses me that Connor sings "You'll Never Walk Alone."
I've turned him.
Because his father, Ben, goes for Manchester United.
United.
I don't know how Liverpool gets a run in the household, but I'm very impressed.
Liverpool supporters, mate, when Ronaldo's son died, you know, the respect that they had, you know, even though they're fierce rivals, a mutual respect there, you know, for greatness.
Yep. Lisa's saying, don't worry, Chris, I'm looking after you, mate. I taught him the song. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
We can send you the Parramatta Eels song as well if you want to give that a
right.
Michelle's got it covered though regarding the Para stuff apparently. Moving on to your best footy memory as a fan, Chris.
Yeah, I've probably got a few. You know, one of my earliest memories is you know, Mum and Dad being the Bulldog supporters, is kicking a ball up on the Belmore Hill. Never really supported the Doggies. They've always been a sort of a favourite team, but kicking a ball, you know, as a 3 and 4 year old there, and you'd have other kids joining in with you and all that sort of thing. That was good. I had a mate in primary school. He was a year older than me, but his parents were mad Magpie supporters, and we'd go to Lidcombe Oval. And you know, when the final whistle or the final horn jumped, you'd jump the fence and you'd run for the corner post, which were old cardboard corner posts back in the day, and trying to win the race there and not winning very often, once or twice.
Yep.
And you know, now I enjoy going down to Combank Stadium, and Michelle loves the Eels more than I do. You know, if you know, Liverpool's my team, being the soccer fan, but Michelle loves them more, and she's very passionate about it. And you know, being there with her is really you know, I quite enjoy it, even if I'm slightly hungover after a big Saturday night with you, Steve.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with a big Saturday night with Coach Stevie G, followed then straight into the footy, which we're going to find all about. We're going to find out all about that next week, come the Roosters game.
That's been on the plan for about 3 months now. The Roosters game being as late on as Saturday night, but having the whiskey show on the same day is you know, added to to the fun of the day. I think I'm really looking forward to it.
And I can say to the thousands watching, it was Chris's idea, and he's the bad influence that's made and created this event to happen.
Yeah.
All right, it's catching up on some of the chats. So Ray's saying that you've gone up in his book, the fact that you mentioned the Tigers. He's also very much a very good cook in the kitchen, Ray, and he does have plenty of wooden spoons in the third drawer. So that'll obviously put him a little bit higher on the pecking order. The fact that he's a big supporter of wooden spoons. And then Lisa says, just don't tell Ben because she's the boss of the house. No para songs in the Muras house. So your biggest heartbreak. Did I say that already? I can't remember if I...
no, you haven't. But again, the biggest heartbreak's probably the Origin. Losing to those bloody two-headed Queenslanders more often than not recently. I was very disappointed at the Game 3 this year with you, Stevie. So disappointed that I had the Blues beanie on and changed it for a Liverpool beanie with about 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, that was a good event. It wasn't bad at all. We're up in the nosebleed, so we had to take some oxygen just to make sure we got through the event. But it was good.
Yeah.
Now, my dogs are barking. That means the nurse Freckles, the assistant coach, is probably just arrived home and will be coming through the door, dressed in her nurse's outfit, and will make a special appearance, I'm sure, when she comes through.
Look forward to it.
All right. Talking footy tipping. So how did you go? No, how did you come up with the display name Happy54321? And I want to spend a bit of time on this question.
You want me to get rid of it, but I can't take credit for it, Steve.
And nor should you, just quietly.
It was back in 2018 when I joined the comp, and I think it was last minute because I hadn't joined, and we're actually at a polling station for Michelle, and she said, "Oh, we got to sign you up," and she I think she actually put happy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because she thinks I'm happy all the time, which I obviously am being married to her, except for probably about 8 o'clock in the morning each morning.
I remember it clearly. You were at the polling booth at Parramatta. It was pre-poll, and I was talking about the footy tipping comp and wanted to get you signed up, and I think I said or Michelle said, let's sign you up right now. So we registered you on the phone right there and then, and Michelle came up with a display name Happy54321. I just thought it was going to be a temporary thing that was going to be updated at a later stage, but it has stuck.
I'm not very technologically advanced, Steve. So once I put something in, that's probably it.
Well, I'm gonna make sure it gets changed. As a matter of fact, I think we should decide tonight. I think the 6 people on the chat should leave their comment and come up with a new display name that we're going to change Chris's for next season. And you know what? I'm going to throw a poll out to the whole group after we post this, and we could have a little competition. The person come up with the best display name for Chris. That could be what we run with for next year, or at least we can present you with that option.
You'll have to do it for me, Steve, because I'm crap on the phone. You know, I've still got the same Facebook photo that I got from 10 years ago, mate.
Yeah, well, it could be worse. You could still have a Hotmail address like somebody else I know that's on the chat at the moment that still has his Hotmail address, which I always find funny when I see come through on the email. All right, moving along. We're not going to get to this game, and I seriously want to review my tip before.
If we've been in for 28 minutes, fair income.
Yeah, we're going good and strong. We haven't hit the rapid fire round yet. What do you know? What have we got here? Do you know your best finish in the tipping comp? We can skip past that because you haven't.
Probably mid-30s, Steve, is the best. I haven't done too successful in your comp. The 2 comps before yours, but your comp, 30s, I think.
Okay, and who's the one person?
But I have been. Sorry, mate. I have won 2 teams comps, so I've had some redemption there.
Yeah, beating the final series at the moment. Anyone can win it. So if you didn't watch the weekly wrap, check it out, and that's got the draw for how the final series will work and who plays who, and also where the teams finished in their rankings. But who do you want to beat in the comp? Like who's that one person in the comp you want to beat? You're not going to get splinters. You're not sitting on the fence. I'm
not going to say the usual of Captain Grumpy Phil, but Bro, I brought Jason Felkin, I think he's Skippy J, into the comp. So I would like to beat him, but I don't think I've got much hope. So I'll say the other Jason, my stepson.
Right.
I've got it. He's well below me, so I'll say Jason.
Yeah, he hasn't been putting his tips in for the last month. So if you're not beating Jason Slatherpuss, you're going nowhere in life, because he's not putting his tips in. He's given up. He's thrown in the towel. Lucky he's on the reserve bench too, so he's not. It's not affecting the team results. So I've noticed there's about 4 or 5 people that aren't putting tips in who are reserves. So it's not impacting anyone. Who has absolutely no chance?
I don't think any of us, Steve. Now I think Hainplane's killed us, hasn't he?
That's a great answer.
Phenomenal that he's. You've got to get me on earlier if you want to get that question out. But he's coming 6th overall in the whole tipping comp is a phenomenal effort, especially this year. It's been a very difficult year. So congratulations to him.
And he's only a couple off the lead, so he's well and truly in it. Yeah, great answer. Really good answer. I think you're right. I don't think any of us have got any chance.
But I'd say the podium positions are up for grabs. I think you've got a good chance being in second, 1 point in front. But anyone down to 15, even I think Elizabeth's in 19th spot. So if she has a couple of good rounds, she's still got a chance. And that'd thrill me if she got up there. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone can definitely can get second and third spot. There's not a lot between the space between those people. I'll tell you what, the only year that I go well, it's the 20th anniversary year, the year that I have a chance to win it, and it's the year that bloody young Jack brings in some random mate of his that comes 5th or 6th in the overall league and gives me no chance to take it out. I'm really going to have to start.
Is this the biggest gap from first to second?
I'm not sure. I think last year Mitch won it by about 6 or 7. So that was a final result. But I mean, there's plenty of time to go. Yeah. Not the sense that we're going to catch him, but there's still a few rounds. What are we in round 24? There's still 3 rounds to go, and then there's finals as well, and there's bonus points throughout the whole final series. So there's definitely points to be made. I did have a look to see how close he is to get the record, and he can easily get the record, but it's a little bit grey. It's a bit of a grey area though. Other years, state of origin points have been included in the in tipping and stuff, so it's not definitely comparable. But I won't be surprised if he takes out every record there is going around at the moment, because no one's gone that high up. I mean, I've had some people that have been high up, but not as high as in the top 5.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with the display name? We've covered that off. Are we in the rapid fire questions?
I think you've got greatest NRL player, mate.
Where am I? I've lost. Yes, we have the greatest NRL player of all time.
Again, it's something that you've got to take perspective over different eras, but probably the greatest NRL player. So since the National Rugby League's been, I'd have to say Nathan Cleary. Based purely on the NRL, I don't think he's the greatest player yet because of the representative, but based on the NRL, winning, steering a team to four premierships. I don't think. I think he's had a good team around him, but he's been the driving force around it. So, much like, you go back to the era of Peter Sterling, the Parramatta teams, that sort of thing. So, but I'd say greatest NRL player is probably Cleary.
Yeah, I just put myself on mute while the dogs are going crazy. It's been a common response to that question, and without repeating myself, it's an obvious one, but a good one. Ray was saying that the biggest heartbreak is Para not winning in decades. That's probably a fair statement. Lisa saying, Dad, where were you when your team won the grand final? Michelle's going on about why don't you and the boys come up with one on your Saturday the 23rd. That's not a bad idea. We could do that. But I still like the idea of throwing a poll out to the tipping comp. Lisa's saying Ben is a loser with his Hotmail address. Yes.
Well, you've just named and shamed the Hotmail person.
And what's even funnier about it, his middle name must be a J, because his last name obviously isn't Ben Muras, but his Hotmail address is BJ, which I always find funny when you're looking at a Hotmail address. He wants to beat anyone above him. Shots fired at Chris. Great hat coach. Phil's on here. Is that Phil? No, it's Lisa. Lisa talking about Phil. Karen, you tell Phil that Ben is waiting for the invite. Is Karen on here? Oh, it was Karen saying shots fired at Chris. I'll say if Karen's watching, Phil must be watching. Chris, are you team coach? What is this?
Mate,
are you team coach or team unlucky ducky?
Brothers, bourbons and cigars, mate. We're team coach, mate.
And this is the midwife Freckles, the assistant coach. Do you want
to hello, Beck.
Jump in and say hello, or do you want to get yourself sorted and come back? She's rocking a new hairstyle. I hope everyone noticed that she bobbed down and gave a nice wave. She'll come back, I'm sure. To the whiskey thing, Lisa. I don't know what that is. Yep. And there's another conversation going on. Chris is organising, I believe. I probably don't need to read all this out because they're having their own conversation. Phil is currently at a meeting.
So double away.
Yes, this is all little internal chats online. I probably don't need to read them out. All right, moving along. Where are we up to? Best current players on that. Best grub in the game.
Steve Crichton's the best current player, I reckon, Steve. I reckon this year, Steve Crichton. He's taken Canterbury to a new level. So Cleary's been good, but Steve Crichton's been great.
And grub, what about a grub?
Hasn't played too much this year, but I reckon Cody Walker, mate. He gets a bit nasty when things don't go his own way. So I think Cody Walker. A lot of people have seen Reid Mahoney, Latrell Mitchell, but I really think Cody Walker.
There seems to be a bit of a pattern in those names you just threw out there. I don't want to state the obvious.
Well, great minds think alike.
Widgety grubs by the sounds of it. One NRL rule you would change instantly.
I got a couple, Steve. Thinking about this. I'd like to see the shoulder charge rule changed. A lot of marketing back in the day was, the big hits. I'd like to see it back in the game. Risk and reward person. So if you get it wrong,
well, you went silent there a little bit. The thing dropped out, but I don't know if it's the NRL who's controlling this live stream that's muting you, Chris. But I think I got the gist of what you're pointing out.
Yeah, like risk and reward. If you hit them in the chest and it's a big hit, play on. But if you get them in the head, you're out for 6 weeks. So it's a risk and reward thing. The pressure on the kickers as well. Back in the day, they'd charge through and they'd try and knock. But Harry Grant's been penalised a couple of times for inconsequential touches, and I see some of the kickers and they walk up to the line and they kick it. There's no pressure on them, so I'd like to see that change. A bit more pressure and a bit more risk and reward, and probably the third one is blatant forward passes should be pulled up by the video ref. I'm not talking about the ones that are a millimetre in front, but if it's absolutely blatant, they should pull them up.
Yeah, I don't disagree with some of those. At the end of the day, my overall comment, we can pick the rules apart, till the cows come home. But at the end of the day, the whole common sense approach. If you had a room full of, let's go with the Garrards, you had a room full of Garrards, live to be able to help out with decision making. It's just that common sense rule that it's so obvious when you see it live, and then they go to the letter of the law, and the interpretation to the letter of the law doesn't really
and in slow motion as well.
Yeah, it doesn't make the ruling for the real intention of why they made the rule in the first place. They take it too far. So I think just the whole common sense approach, which is not how you can run. You can't run a game. It's like me saying it's the common sense approach in this footy tipping comp. At the end of the day, the rules are the rules. You got to stick to them. But
Yeah.
as a
it'd be good if the NRL, when they make mistakes, it'll put their hand up about it. I think there's a protection racket around some of the decisions.
Yeah.
So
the accountability, I think, is important too.
100%.
All right, golden point or extra time.
They're professionals, mate. So if you're a professional and you're getting paid well, then you've got to cop the good times with the bad times.
Yep. I agree. So golden point or extra time?
Neither, Steve. Draw.
So 80 minutes, that's it.
80 minutes, that's it. In the finals, extra time, but regular season draw.
So once 80 minutes comes past, that's it. It's all over.
That's it. They do it in the Premier League, mate, so why not? It's been tradition. I think it's unnecessary.
Okay.
But it added dimension to the footy tipping as well. If you pick the draw, you should get 4 points.
I reckon you should. Honestly, if ESPN allowed it in the settings somehow, I would have it. I think if you could pick a draw, I think you should get a bonus point just for that game. I mean,
so regular season draw, 100% regular season draw.
That's a great idea. This is probably a good opportunity. Not many people will probably watch these things, but if you are in the tipping comp and you watch it, the ESPN footy tipping support, the email address, just the customer service support line, is very responsive. You'll get a response within 24 hours. I'm gonna email them and suggest that if there's a way that they can for next year customize it where you can pick a draw. I reckon that'd be a good addition to the comp next year. Who wins?
So I'm gonna have one more sip.
Well, don't rub yourself out too early, because I might after saying hello to my lovely wife, I might make a special appearance over there tonight to watch the footy. Although I haven't organised it. Who wins the premiership for 2025 in 2025?
With Power out, Steve, it's sort of a secondary thing, but I'd like to see the Raiders get up. I think they've been the most consistent team this year. Melbourne have won a couple and then lost a couple. Penrith, at the start of the year were going poor. So I'd like to see the Raiders. It's been a long time for them. Although it's probably they're only second to the Eels with longevity of premierships, I think, at the moment. So, but I'd like to see the Raiders get up. I think Penrith, Melbourne, and Canterbury have probably got a chance, but I'd like to see the Raiders get up.
Yep, I agree. I was watching a video this afternoon just with some footy talk back, and they were talking about grand finals and who you'd want to see and all the variations. A lot of people saying they want the Dogs there just because of the audience they'll bring. And they were talking about it being a Penrith Dogs grand final, which would be massive. They were talking about Canberra. It'll be great to see, not Canberra, sorry. They were talking about Canberra getting there as well. But, yeah, I agree. I think seeing Canberra get there would be good. As long as they deliver, there's nothing worse. It looked like Parramatta when we got to the grand final. Yeah,
it'd be a big disappointment for Jack Whiten, mate. Going to the South to win the Premier League, the Premiership, and they, it's fighting out for the wooden spoon. And Canberra have gone leaps and bounds without him. Yep, he's a good player, but very good player.
Only a couple to go. I'm going to wrap this up so we can get this finished before the footy starts. Who wins? Who gets the wooden spoon, Chris?
I'd say probably Titans are favourites at the moment. I think the loss to Souths last week probably did them. Souths got a bye in the last couple of rounds, so they've probably snuck through it. I think the other team's probably Newcastle. They're going poo at the moment, so I think it'll be between the Titans and Newcastle.
Okay, now I'm going to throw you under the bus. I'm going to throw you a curveball. I'm not going to ask you who's going to win the tipping comp. That's too easy. Who's going to come second in the tipping comp?
Let's say you, Stevie G. I hope you get up. You do a lot of work for this, and I like the comp in the comp within a comp within a comp, and it gives everyone a chance to play for the whole 26 rounds plus the finals, 27 rounds plus the finals, and you're doing a phenomenal job. So I'll give you the nod, mate, this time. As long as you beat Lucky Ducky.
I do appreciate that, but I'm very surprised you don't want your daughter to come second or third. But anyway, we won't go there. If you want me to beat your daughter,
she's too far. If she could come third, that'd be awesome. But I think she's just a couple. She's probably 2 games behind, which is my fault because I changed her mind on a couple of para games. If truth be known, saying that. You probably not one para game and one other game, and I thought, I should have been listening to her rather than the other way around.
Yep. Very good. And the last question, there's been a few on the chat that are very much looking forward to the answer to this question. If you could host a barbecue and invite any 3 people, who would they be?
I've been thinking about this all day, Steve. And I could have been philosophical and everything, but I like to be hospitable and I like to have people around. So all the Garrards would be here already, and the family. The special guest appearances, I'd probably Steve Garrard would be a big one. Jurgen Klopp, and
Donald Trump.
No, I was actually going to say Jesus, Steve. I'd like to see the.
Didn't you say all the Garrards are going to be there already?
Jesus, I'd like. I mean, if he reappeared, it'd be the end of days, but which we don't want. But I'd like to. I'm pretty deep with a lot of stuff, so I'd like the answer to the meaning of life.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. So we've got Steve Garrard, we've got Klops, we've got all the Garrards, and
I've got red cheeks.
And there's going to be plenty of cocktails. What are you cooking on the barbecue, Chris?
Michelle did a good kofta. I think it's called kofta or kafta. So whatever. I'm easy, mate. Steak, chicken, whatever's good.
Well, you've upset Lisa.
I've mentioned I'm giving you the money, Lisa. Don't worry, it's all good.
But you're not invited to the barbecue, so
no, she can come.
No, she's not invited.
Connor.
Well, Connor's always invited, but Lisa's been left out. But
because Michelle doesn't want Trump, he can be the 4th person.
Yeah, and Ray's allowed to go too. Well, at least he could drop Ray off.
All of them, everyone's invited, mate. I love having people around. Being an only child, having more people, the better.
Yeah, Karen's actually correct. Lisa is a proxy Garrard, so I suppose it does actually extend it out to Lisa.
100%.
As long as Lisa admits that she's Lisa Garrard/Muras officially on her birth certificate. I'm happy.
I'm Chris Garrard/O'Keefe, so it's all good.
Oh, very good. Well, that is it all done and dusted. There's a couple of things I probably need to cover off. One particular thing. So the next final whistle is going to be on Wednesday night. It's not going to be Thursday night. I've got a work event that I can't get out of that I'm running. So it'll be a Wednesday night, and we do have the long time coming. Captain Grumpy is making his final whistle appearance. I was going to leave him to the very, very end because that's a conversation we had, and he wanted to be the last person to be interviewed. But I want to keep the ball and the momentum going, and I know there's a few people that I need to chase up to get locked in. But I knew Phil would step up if I asked, and he has said yes. He's in next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. So it's going to be a bit of a change.
It's not as terrifying as you think. It's not as terrifying as you think, Phil.
No, it's not terrifying at all. It's just a conversation with Coach Stevie G. There's nothing scary about that. In the change room, it might be a different question. If I'm giving you a serve in the change room because of a bad halftime performance, but no. So next Wednesday, stay tuned. I'll be posting it all over socials. And there's only one thing left to do, Chris, and I'm going to hand it over to you. I've got the whistle ready. Do you reckon you could do the sign-off?
Yeah, I'll try my best, Steve. Michelle doesn't think I do it very well, but here we go. Keep your tips smart, your banter sharp, and remember, it's all fun and games until the... Final whistle.
God, I've got to really work on that whistle. Thanks, mate. Appreciate you jumping on, and
Thanks, Steve.
I will see you in 5 or 10 minutes if I pop over, and if not, I will see you on the weekend.
There's a cigar ready for you, mate.
Beautiful.